Yeah, Mike Brown was fired because of LeBron James. LeBron James indirectly fired him. Hell, you could even say LeBron James directly fired him. Think about it. De'Aaron Fox, what sports agency is he a client of? Clutch Sports. Agent, Rich Paul. Rich Paul is LeBron James' best friend. Is LeBron James a huge Mike Brown fan? You remember when he was in Cleveland? All the times they're butt heads and all that stuff. You remember people used to say, well, whenever the team was doing good, oh, LeBron James the coach. When they was doing bad, oh, yeah, that's all on Mike Brown. Yeah. But no, but seriously though, man, like Mike Brown, I thought that was legit criticism of De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox made an obvious mistake. Mike Brown stated the obvious mistake publicly. Now, should he have just said that privately? Maybe. But I don't think by him saying it publicly that warrants him being fired. Now, I do believe like people want to so quick to blame the owners and the GM and all that, but if this ownership, if they care about De'Aaron Fox, they would have came to De'Aaron Fox and said, "Hey, De'Aaron, how do you feel about this, man?" You know, and based on what De'Aaron Fox's response was to the media, I think he wanted Mike Brown out. I think part of the reason why he hasn't signed an extension is because he saw that they gave Mike Brown an extension. I don't think he wants Mike Brown as his coach. I don't. I don't think he has anything personal against him. I just think he feels that they could do better with another coach. I don't know. And I think this information probably came from Clutch Sports because Mike Brown, when he was the head coach for the Cleveland Cavaliers when LeBron was there, they won over six. They won 60 games or more twice, but did not make the finals. Now they did make the finals when they didn't win 60 games, but they got swept by the Spurs. And you go back on that series, you hear that Robert Horry said that Mike Brown was running the same plays that they was running in San Antonio. So they knew all the doggone plays the Cavaliers were running, which has me thinking, okay, if Robert Horry knew that Mike Brown was running the same doggone plays as they did in San Antonio, and folks saying, well, LeBron James has this huge IQ, wouldn't LeBron James be aware of that? Wouldn't he be aware that, hey, man, we're running the same doggone plays that the San Antonio Spurs are running? Because I have super IQ, high IQ, basketball IQ, and I know what the Spurs are running. I see what they are running. And we are running the exact same thing they are running. You know? That's what I'm saying. Why didn't he call that out back then? He has super high IQ. All right, person with super high IQ is going to know, hey, these plays are not going to work when we go up against San Antonio. They may work on everybody else, but not against San Antonio. But De'Aaron Fox, I don't know who's going to be the coach for this head coach of this team, but right now they have Doug Christie. I like Doug Christie. Doug Christie was a two-way player, man. I love that. And I think having Doug Christie there, he's going to put emphasis on defense. And see, a lot of people talk about the offense of them. See, I thought Mike Brown, for real, like, to be honest with you, his thing is defense, all right? Defense. Like, De'Aaron Fox, I think he's a good player, but when I see De'Aaron Fox, I don't think, wow, he's a superstar. I don't think like Russell Westbrook in his prime, Steph in his prime, LeBron, KD, or any of those guys. I don't. I think that he's a good player on average team. He's going to put up superstar numbers, but not be a superstar. I don't think he's a player that can lead a team to a championship as the number one guy. Maybe as the number 3 guy, but I don't think as the number 1 guy. And that's a big reason why I do not want De'Aaron Fox playing for the Houston Rockets. The Rockets trying to win a championship. And I think it's a lateral move if you trade Jalen Green for De'Aaron Fox. Like, I like Jalen Green. Jalen Green, he is improving on defense. He's improving on other aspects of his game. He's gradually learning how to take better shots instead of just putting up stats. Because I'm going to tell you something. If Jalen Green was playing for Sacramento and not trying to win a championship or having a coach who's trying to win a championship. I think Jalen Green, on just average or below average teams, I think Jalen Green will average about 26, 27 points per game. Kind of like De'Aaron Fox is, you know. I know 22, 23 season, they had that big year and all this stuff, but the thing about it is nobody saw them coming. Nobody saw that coming. That's the thing about it. And that's how Mike Brown got coach of the year. Nobody saw that coming from that team. And then what happened was the next year you had expectations. They didn't meet those expectations. De'Aaron Fox didn't make the All-Star team. Didn't meet those expectations. He didn't lead that team, him and Domantas Sabonis. They did not lead that team back to the playoffs. They won like 46 games, but they still failed to meet the playoffs, to make the playoffs. So that right there, I mean, no, no, no. Because you bring De'Aaron Fox over here, that means we're going to have to give up Jalen Green or Cam Whitmore, okay, or Jabari Smith Jr., or Tyree Eason, or who else we got? Amen Thompson, or Reed Shepard. No, 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 no. I'm not saying those guys are untradeable, but listen, this is not, De'Aaron Fox is not him. This is not T-Mac when he was in Orlando and the Rockets was getting ready to, when the Rockets traded Steve Francis and Cuttino Mobley. Francis was multiple All-Stars, Mobley a borderline All-Star. Both of them fan favorites. We got T-Mac. T-Mac at the time was an All-Star, All-NBA player consistently. And back then, let's see, the argument who was the who's the better between Kobe and T-Mac. Had like a 5, 6, 7 year span. Who's better, Kobe or T-Mac? All right, maybe 5 years. But no, De'Aaron Fox is not that dude. No, I would rather do the Jimmy Butler trade because I know there's a thing called there is a human being, there is a super being called Playoff Jimmy. And Playoff Jimmy got the Miami Heat to 2 NBA finals. 2 NBA finals. With this Rockets team right here, they will get to the finals as long as everybody is healthy with a playoff Jimmy. Okay, I don't think De'Aaron Fox, like let's say if you have the Rockets expected to get to the second round and that's it. De'Aaron Fox is not going to get them to the conference finals. Or if you have the Rockets expecting to go to the conference finals, De'Aaron Fox is not going to get the Rockets to the NBA finals and win the championship. I know you're probably like, dang, T, you could have just said De'Aaron Fox is not that dude that's going to get them over the hump. Well, he's not that dude that's going to get them over the hump. No disrespect to him. I mean, I think he's a good player, but I think the Rockets have a lot of good players. Now, if you're going to trade somebody for him, I mean, because the way I look at it, maybe the salaries will match. Okay, you could trade him for Fred VanVleet. But I'm going to tell you something. I think in the playoffs, I think that's where Fred VanVleet's leadership is going to be very, very important for this team. Him and Dillon Brooks. But mainly Fred VanVleet because he's a champion. He's a champion. I don't always like his game all the time, but nobody's perfect. But I like what he's brought to this team so far. And I do understand that next year, he might not be a Houston Rocket, but I do think the Rockets can make a deeper run with Fred VanVleet at point guard than De'Aaron Fox. Because Fred VanVleet, the thing about it is, yeah, he came off the bench when he won the championship in Toronto, but he played a lot of important minutes. It almost reminds me of 30 years ago when Sam Cassell, Houston Rockets. He was coming off the bench, but guess what? He was playing big-time minutes, all right? And you saw the type of clutch performer that Sam Cassell came to be. I think that's what I see in Fred VanVleet, all right? Now, I do think next year, I'm expecting Amen Thompson to take that next leap as far as running the Houston Rockets offense at point guard or point forward. All right. So that's what I'm expecting. But I don't think De'Aaron Fox is the answer. And like I said, he couldn't handle the criticism from Mike Brown. He's not going to be able to handle that criticism that Ime Udoka does. He publicly criticizes his players. Not dissing them. He publicly criticizes them so they can become better. I felt like the criticism Mike Brown did that for De'Aaron Fox, that's to help him be better. Yeah, you like that. You fouled the 3-point shooter. You're up by 3. You know, you should be guarding. You should have been guarding the 3-point line to begin with. If they go in for a 2, let them get a 2. Okay? 2 doesn't equal 3. All right? So, and I'm not sure how often Mike Brown publicly criticizes his players, but I mean, I honestly feel that whoever the GM or the owner, whoever fired Mike Brown, I felt like they ran that by their star player because they're trying to keep him, and that matters, So I don't know, but what I do know is I'm not a big fan of De'Aaron Fox coming to Houston. No, no, no. I like what I'm seeing with this current Rockets team, but like I say, if I mean, I don't mind doing the trade for Jimmy Butler. I know some people are like, well, Jimmy Butler's old, De'Aaron Fox can be a future and all this stuff. Hey, no day, we're not promised to live the next day. I want to see the Rockets win the championship and get close to that as possible. All right, and then we can take it from there. Because the deeper they go into the playoffs, that's more experience for all these players right here. More experience for them. All right, but I don't think Amen Thompson is him. Because if he was, Kings wouldn't have just only made the playoffs one time. I could see if he kept getting them to the first round and they losing and you see that he needs help. You take James Harden. James Harden always gets to the playoffs. No matter the team, no matter the squad. You give James Harden that squad they have, they make it to the playoffs. They make it to the playoffs. Okay? You got De'Aaron Fox, DeMar DeRozan, Domantas Sabonis. But what's the problem, Mike? You can't win with that? You the point guard? You have weapons. You have weapons right there. What's going on here? I don't get that. I'm not understanding that. So, yeah, you can blame the coach. Okay. The coach has a certain percentage that he contributes to the winning and losses in the pie chart. But the players, the stars, your all-stars, they have a certain percentage too. All right? So how much is De'Aaron Fox doing all that he can? No, I don't think so. No, don't think so at all. So, no, he missed me with that. So he can keep his habits that he does. He can stay over there in Sacramento or whatever. But no, we don't. Not a big fan of him becoming a Houston Rocket. Now, of course, if he became a Houston Rocket, I'm going to root for him because I root for the Rockets. All right, but they would have to prove me wrong. But I mean, no, I'm not rocking with De'Aaron Fox to be a Houston Rocket. Maybe y'all are. Share your thoughts. Let me know. What do you think about De'Aaron Fox becoming a Houston Rocket, and which players are you willing to part ways with in order to get De'Aaron Fox, and how far you think the Houston Rockets can get if they got De'Aaron Fox this year? Share your thoughts. Let me know what you're thinking. Put in the comment section. And remember, hey, you like sports, you like movies, that means you like me. Student of the Game Podcast.